Do you know how powerful you are? Welcome to the Risepreneurs Podcast.
Welcome to Risepreneurs.
Reshaping and elevating your mindset to help you achieve what you believe.
Sometimes we don't even see our own greatness. You can't be what you can't see.
And connecting Black cultures to build a community of talent and success.
Black people need to realize that they are assets. You are an asset.
When we rise, you rise.
Come together as a group.
This is Risepreneurs with Terrell Simmons.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Risepreneurs. Another episode. This episode here is with Nichole Wright. What can I say about her? She's a mompreneur out there in North Carolina. I got family out there in North and South Carolina. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we somehow related. 5th, 6th cousins, 3rd removed. I don't know. But she just has an infectious, loving spirit and energy to her. And she tells a little bit about her journey into entrepreneurship in the beauty care, beauty supply space. I believe lipstick, lip gloss, fingernail polish is her thing. But yeah, let's jump into this episode and learn more about Nichole Wright. All right. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Risepreneurs episode. We got Nichole Wright in the building. How did me and you meet? How we find each other?
How we find each other?
Yeah.
It's probably more my contacts, because I work with basically a marketing firm that helps me. With it. So they help me with all the press releases and everything like that. So just my team.
Yeah. I'm always curious to see how I get connected to people, because sometimes people say, "Oh, I know this person." I was like, I know them. They didn't even tell me they were sending you through. But nonetheless, I'm gonna treat you like a playcast, and I just love your energy already as you're coming in through the show. Where you located?
In Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yeah. I got family out in South Carolina. I think I got some family out in North Charlotte too, but Greensville, South Carolina. I remember I used to go down there to south of the border every time, stop by when we used to do our trips down there. Born and raised there?
No, I'm actually from Charleston, South Carolina.
Get the heck out of here. We might be family for real. We might be kinfolk for real.
You never know.
Oh man! So just to give you a little synopsis on the podcast, I started this podcast in the middle of the pandemic, or towards the end of the pandemic, because I used to do a lot of workforce development, speaking in schools and so forth, and our youth, actually our adults too, we got limited beliefs about what we can do, what we can be, and all that stuff. And so after winning a pitch competition with Google Startup Tech Weekend, I met more people just doing amazing stuff, and I was like, man, there needs to be more of our stories told, because anytime I tell people like, hey, I did this, or I'm at this, it's like, oh, that's you just one to one. It's an anomaly. Nah, I just seen another brother. He out there doing this. I seen another sister. She out here doing this. And I realized that the stories that are told of us are not seen enough. And so I want us to be seen and heard enough until we're not looked at as just athletes and entertainers. That's the only way we can make it, until we see all the beauty in all the different shades all over the world. And then hopefully we can join a community that allows us to invest in us and work together at some point. That's the longer goal. But right now, it's just to highlight us and talk about the journey. So, give you that. So thank you for being here. So I think I'm going to start it off like this. The first question, Nichole. So for the people who don't know Nichole Wright, who is Nichole Wright? And you can take that as far as wide as you want or as deep as you want. Who is Nichole Wright?
Who am I? Well, basically, I am an entrepreneur now. So definitely have my own business. I am a mom. I am a wife. Really, I'm just a friendly person, family oriented.
I can tell you friendly. I can tell.
So just try to really just make a name for myself. Definitely like in the beauty industry. So really just get my foot in the door and really just try to get myself out there. Cause I am a small business owner. And just basically in competition with a lot of these basically larger brands. So really just have my own thing and just try to make sure I stick with it and stay motivated, and just basically try to get all the help that I can to help make something of my brand and what I have to offer with everybody.
I'm glad to see, a Black beauty supply or Black beauty. Is it beauty business products or like
beauty products.
More in the space, because I always was under the notion that the Asians ran the beauty supply business and market. I'm not sure if that's a misconception. What's that?
That does look like. I mean, when you think about it, like a lot of these beauty supply stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's mostly run by like Asians and so forth. But I just have my own beauty store. My beauty store online, I guess you want to say. So but I mean, even though right now I just have just a line of basically lip glosses and nail polishes, and eventually I do expect to expand on that, my product line and so forth. So
absolutely. Now, tell the people what's the name of your beauty supply line, or the what you offer. Give them the name so they drop it in there. Name drop. Go ahead.
The name of my business is Satrell Beauty. So basically, it's basically a combination of my two boys' names. The SA is basically from Samuel, and the trail is coming from my other son's name, Dontrell. So basically, combine those two to make the name out of that. And definitely, I did speak to my boys. I'm like, I'm gonna name, basically let them know I'm naming my beauty line behind you guys, and they were all right.
That's love right there. I love the name. My granddad name was Samuel, so like I'm in love. I'm in love with it already. So tell me, give me your entrepreneur journey, like because I noticed you put the like now entrepreneur on it when we came in on the intro. So how did you become an entrepreneur, and when did this journey start for you? Like how did it happen for you?
To be honest, I've been thinking about it for years to doing it, but for Satrell Beauty to come in and play, it's basically started more like 3 years ago. So really just finally say, you know what, enough is enough. Just go ahead and just start my business. Because I mean, it was always the hesitation with me. Like, I don't know if I should move forward with it, or, how can I compete in the industry, so forth. But I mean, it is very saturated. There's a lot of brands out there. And plus, I know there's people who do already love certain brands.
Yeah.
So try to figure out ways, trying to find my way in the door and really know, like, okay, how can I really compete and make sure people know that Satrell Beauty exists, and then I could definitely offer them a product that they would definitely want to use. So I just basically just told myself, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and just start it and run with it, basically. I mean, you never know what's going to come out of it unless you do try. So when it comes down to it.
I mean, I learned that firsthand doing this podcast. I was like, all right, people gonna listen to it, they can be receptive, and then we hit in like 4 months we hit number 87 on the iTunes chart in Africa. I was like, what? I was like, all right, okay, all right, Africa, I appreciate you. Let me make sure I continue to support.
Oh, you have to start somewhere. That's what it is. No, I'll tell you, basically, that's just how I started. And then basically, I just decided to start basically with like lip glosses and nail polishes. Because out of all the beauty products that I use, those are the two main ones that I definitely love. And I do like some of the other ones as well. And I eventually will incorporate that into my line. Yeah. So it'll be coming. So,
What is it that intrigues you about lip gloss and nail polish? What is it? What is it?
I love the color, just the statements. I mean, you think about it, just based on the mood that you're in, you can just choose the color and just go out the door and just, okay, this is my mood today. If I want to wear pink, have my pink glasses on. If I want orange, I'll do that,
Okay.
Just basically trying to make a statement.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. It is so simple. It's so simple to make that statement just with a couple of the dashes of color on all 10 of these, and once. Well, I don't know how easy it is to put on lip gloss and lipstick, but I'm just taking this 1-1-1. So I always like to tell people it's not where you start, it's how you start and where you finish, right? Like everybody has humble beginnings. Well, most of us do. And people always think, oh, they focus so much time on energy on the start and instead of just starting. And even if you can't get to where you want to get at, there's always something you can learn right where you're at, even in that first job. And I like to tell people that because I often ask this question, and this next question I'm going to ask you, which is, what was your first job? And I asked that so people could see where you didn't start off in the beauty industry, right? Like this was one of the first jobs you had. And what was one of the lessons you kind of learned from your first job that you say you probably carried you into the next stage of your career?
Be honest, after I went to college, and after I did that, I majored in my background is mainly like in accounting, finance.
Accounting? From accounting to beauty? Oh, okay. So just doing that, it definitely helped with owning my own business, especially understanding numbers. Really know what to incorporate, when it comes to the financial aspect of everything. So that definitely was a big driver. Yeah. So gotta know your numbers in business.
Yes, that's always key. So that's a big thing that really kind of stuck out. Like, okay, so I definitely did my research, definitely on the industry itself, but really just knowing what it's going to take and how much of an impact it's going to be for me from even financially standpoint. So that was really key. So that really helped pave the way. Yeah. Plus, what things that I've learned, like from working with other people in the accounting world, and then plus I do have some family that are also entrepreneurs themselves. So that really helped along the way to really know like how much time I definitely have to put into it. Because once you're on your own business, you really it's basically yours. So you really got to put in more work and really make sure it stands out and do what you can to make sure it's a company that's very representable, respected, just try to make it your all. So
because the onus falls on you at the end of the day. So love that. What was one thing, the key lesson that what was that first job again? I know you went to school for accounting, but what was the first?
Yeah, but before like when I was in high school and so forth, it's just the fact of my very first job ever. I was like a retail associate, basically a sales associate at a retail store. So that was part of that. That'd be my very first job for doing that. When it comes down to it,
I had that same job too, sis. So don't know. I know the struggles of retail. What's one lesson you would say you learned from your retail days?
My retail days, I'll definitely say just know. One thing I learned: listen to your customers.
Yeah.
So that's definitely key to know what any issues that they have, because when you're seeing people returning products or just really know what they're looking for, that's always key. So, and that's why I try to base my business around, because I know I have to do so much research to understand what are people actually looking for, what do they want. So it's always key to listen to what they're looking for. So, especially in the beauty world, people are looking, a lot of women are looking for stuff that's very organic, something that doesn't have all those harsh chemicals in them. So just try to really work around that, just to understand what they want and make sure I incorporate that into my brand.
Yeah. Let's dive into that a little deeper. Is the beauty market making a trend right now to like more organic and more eco-friendly products? Is that what the new trend is right now?
That's one of the trends. They're really trying to make it more organic, more friendly user type products. So they want that. The people are really trying to get away from all those chemicals that's messing with their skin.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing right now. To really try to.
Now, does like organic in the healthcare line mean more expensive, or can you still be cost efficient and offer that same quality of organic and less chemicals?
You can still be cost efficient. And I think when it comes to the price point, it's more of how you want to go about pricing your products. That's how I look at it. Cause I do think some people can go overboard when it comes to pricing. That's me personally. I'm just saying. Yeah. That's my part of that. Can kind of go over the top when it comes to pricing. But it's more about, what you can afford and what you can really offer your consumers. Because you can't really go about saying like, okay, yes, I'm making an organic product or anything that's very natural. Yeah. And just expect somebody just to go out there and spend $100 on just one product. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, just really kind of consider, you still got to make it affordable for folks. For like
Absolutely.
So, and that's what I look for as well, to make my products more affordable and still be able to offer what they're looking for.
Okay, I like that. I like that you listen to your customer, try to make it more affordable. I like that you're a numbers gal too. You got the numbers. I feel like you the perfect entrepreneur mom. you know it all. I'm pretty sure you run a tight ship and a nice household. So if you run your household like you run your company, business is going to be booming.
That's the end goal when it comes out.
So now let's break down the steps. What was the steps that you took to kind of get into your career or get into your entrepreneurial career in business? What were the steps? Like, say if somebody's listening to this, so you inspired some young lady and it's like, you know what? I've been thinking about this lip gloss thing. I see Nichole Wright doing her thing. Let me see if I could try to make something happen. What were the steps that you kind of took to get into your entrepreneurial journey?
One, I did research to understand the industry itself.
Okay.
So that was one of the steps I took. Two, I had to put down goals for myself to see how I would go about approaching everything. So basically, like, after I did my research, I had to figure out, okay, how my finances, because I mean, you got to think about all the supplies you need, whether or not, but like all the ingredients, the tubes, all the products, just in order to make your products and get those ready to go. And plus, if you do decide to basically utilize like any help, like go through manufacturers or try to find like a marketing team, somebody can help you with social media and things like that. So you got to incorporate all kind of things in your, I guess, process of trying to get your business up and running. So we got to consider, there's various things you have to consider. To be honest, when I first started, I was trying to do everything all by myself, which was basically a no-no. I can't. So I said, I have to get some help. So that's when I started getting the team to help out with like the social media and just doing all that type of stuff. So I'm like, I need some help. It started to take a toll when I was trying to do everything all by myself. Like, it's time for me to really put some people in and just kind of find it and get like a great unit. And I do have a good team around me, which I am grateful for. That really helps out with everything. So. And it's great. And even my family would pitch in sometimes too. And that's helpful.
Oh, that's lovely. A family that grows together is just a lovely thing. Now, out of all those things, like, because I definitely agree with you, having an important team, you can't do everything by yourself. And I think that's the hardest lesson that some first time entrepreneurs have to learn, because they're like, oh, you know what? I'm in the beginning phase. I don't have as much money or capital, maybe, or resources, or let me try to go it alone as long as I can to save money and time, which is sometimes it's kind of a double-edged sword, because are you really saving money and time?
That's the thing. You kind of figure it out somehow. But I mean, at the same time, you got to think about it this way. It's an investment. And definitely you should get a big return in the end when it comes down to it.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. Now, through this journey, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of lessons you learned along the way, probably even in life, because it's probably changed your life and family life. I know for me it did. What's one good lesson life has taught you in this journey?
One good lesson, definitely, always, for me, definitely stay motivated.
Stay motivated.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it wasn't pretty. It was like, oh my God, I don't know how I could do this. It just, for me, it seemed like it was just so stressful. That was just starting out. It's like, I don't know if I could do this. And plus when I wasn't really getting anybody responding to me, like in regards to like a post, anything on social media, things like that. And it's like, I don't know if I could do it, and how can I manage? I gotta have kids as well. I don't know if I can take all this. And then plus still worrying about what people think. Like, what do people think about?
Tell them about it. Worrying about people think. Whew.
Yeah. It's like, even if again, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I had to, even over time, like, okay, don't worry about what everybody else gonna think. I don't expect everybody to like my product.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing, and I shouldn't. But yeah, so I had to really, those things, like definitely stay motivated and just basically make sure I don't get deterred from, from any criticism or anything like that. Because it's expected. It's going to be. I know everybody's not going to like my product.
Yeah.
So there'll be some people over here on one side and other people like, yeah, no, we don't care. So, but you just have to get over that and just keep moving and keep pushing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what really sets people apart when they focus on their main core customers and build super fans. And those are the people you should be worried about. But everybody else who's not buying the product, that's just there just to come on the page and make noise. That's not who you should be worried about. All right. So going back to that young person or that mom that listened to this, what's some advice you would give to them to help them get started in the beauty industry? What was the biggest thing that you found that was helpful?
That was helpful? For me, it just basically not being afraid to put yourself out there. Because that's what I learned, especially with some people that I knew who entrepreneurs themselves. Just don't be afraid. Mm-hmm. So just go out there and add your ideas and creations and everything to the mix. So just don't be afraid to present something to the world, because you never know what'll happen. People are looking for something different all the time. When you think about it. So that's why you definitely got to stay abreast of what's going on in the industry. And I know the beauty industry is always changing, so I definitely have to stay on top of that to understand more what's going on, so I could try to make sure I could change along with what's going on around me. Yeah. That's what happened with the pandemic that happened last year. It's just like, that definitely shifted things.
And I'm pretty sure that changed the way you had to do business and everything. Like, talk about, like, how was that? Like, shifting through the pandemic, how did it change your business? Did sales, because I know some people business went through the roof, right? And then some people, they had to do a complete shift and may have leveled off. Some people business dropped. How was it for you in the pandemic? What shifts did you have to make, and then how did it affect your business?
Yeah, for me, it definitely hit me hard, especially being a small business, because I don't have like all the backing like that compared to some of these bigger firms do to help them. But yeah, that definitely hit me, and I had to just figure out ways to go about trying to present my brand, to the world again. Just really try to make sure how to still stay in the know. Yeah. On social media and so forth. So I still continue to keep posting things out there, but at the same time, still kind of communicate what's going on around the world. So I try to incorporate a lot of that into my posts, because I do understand, yes, it's a hit for everybody, and people losing their jobs and stuff, that didn't help. So it just really was something that really was hard. But this year, business is basically starting to pick back up, and I'm grateful for that. So. Yeah.
People want, just like you said in your earlier, that people want to change their mood. They tired of pandemic blue. They want that new straight out of pandemic orange and the bright colors you got. so they ready to get their lipstick on and popping and all the different shades and the nails done. So when you take a look at the beauty industry, what do you think the future has in store for it?
What I think, definitely the way, things shifted with the online sales and the online, everything is in online. So definitely getting more organic is one. I know that's still going to trend. People are still looking for that product where, especially with us wearing masks right now, hopefully that's gone soon too, but definitely be able to have like more, I know, especially women with all the eye makeup and everything, they definitely want that. That, and just try to find ways for people to be able to try our own products now, because if you got to do something digitally, because now going to the stores like we used to do and just pick up a tube and try on lipstick or something, like, no, that's like out the door now.
But I was going to ask, how do women do this now? Because I remember, in the store they would have the tubes, and sometimes they'll have the things, they'll wipe it off, they do it, or they'll put it on their hand. Like, how does this happen now? Like, and especially online, how do you like? Do you put your face in a picture online and then use a? That's
what it is now. So it's basically a lot of it's digital now.
Yeah.
So you can kind of just paint the color, like pick a color and kind of just look at yourself in the photo in a way. But that's what it is right now. So you just have to figure out new ways to try on makeup.
Well, that's interesting to me. Like, I mean, I don't know. How do you like it, or how do people seem to like it? Are they liking it more or less, or is there not a difference? Like, what's been the?
No, that is a big difference. But I think when it comes down to, people still want to be able to actually try it on physically. Because I mean, you can think about it. You really don't know the texture.
Yeah.
So you look at it on a computer screen, but you really don't know the texture and how, if you really do like it, and how long it's gonna really last.
Mm-hmm.
So you're losing some of that. So it is hard. So it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah. So
because you think about it, you don't really want to buy a product and not know if it's gonna last or how it's gonna look once you do put it on your face. Because just because you look at it on a computer screen, once you put it on live, it probably look totally different.
Yeah. I think business is gonna have to start giving out samples now. At least more samples.
Yeah.
Do they do that now? Do they give out samples? I don't know anything about beauty, so you have to educate me.
Some brands do give out samples. Some do, but not extensive as enough, and probably it won't be like mainly some of the products that you want a lot of times. But it's rare, but it does happen.
Okay, is it mostly the bigger brands that do the samples and stuff? Okay. Another thing, as far as packaging goes in the beauty industry, because I remember you talked about, like, when you first started, and you said you had to do the research, the tubes. Wait, are you doing your own packaging and assembly too? Like, or do you outsource that? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I guess about my packaging and stuff. So yeah.
What? You do all your own packaging? Wow.
No, I just want else to do it. No.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the packaging. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Trust me, in the beginning stage, I was trying to do all that. Like, I can't do that because I don't. Yeah, but then you got to think about it too, about having all like the safety and everything. So I got to consider all that as well. That comes into play.
When you say safety, are you talking about like kids don't get a hold of it and eat stuff like that type of stuff, or like
more like the standard, like from an FDA standpoint, or just making sure like everything's clean and so forth. So there's not really too many spaces I have. I mean, that's I could afford like a warehouse and do all that stuff in. Yes, I could do that and make sure I have everything nice and clean. But just in my house, no, it's kind of hard because it's much harder doing that.
So. When you were doing your whole packaging and looking at how the brand was going to look, how was that process? Like, how do you go about selecting? Are there different type of styles or that you could choose from as far as type of packaging? Because I imagine like there's only like a set few and then you just do the color system. But tell me that whole experience figuring it out.
There's a lot to choose from when it comes to like your packaging. So I had to look at a lot of different packaging to understand like which one I wanted, whether or not I want round tube, square tube, especially like some weird shape tube. It's just it came down to
they got square tubes.
Yeah.
How do you put lipstick on a square tube?
You can find different stuff. There's a lot out there. If you really look at it, there's a lot.
Wow.
I didn't realize there was that many out there until I started looking. It was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff, like a lot of shapes and stuff you can use for your product. It just depends on what you want. So that's what it comes down to. Because I have round tubes right now. And who knows, maybe just for fun, I could basically use totally different packaging. Just like, let's come out with just like a exclusive and it's in this package, that type of thing.
Okay. Wow, I would have never, like, I'm still mind blown that there's square tubes out there and that for lipstick, probably lip gloss. Okay. So now after you go through that packaging and finding a package, like what goes into consideration in that as far as are you looking more for the feel, the texture, the style, the size, the cost? Like what was your biggest decision makers and how you went down and figuring that part out for your brand?
For me, I factored in everything. So just really knowing like what style I wanted, how I wanted my logo to look on the packaging, going further along, trying to figure out what shades I wanted to start out with, the ingredients I wanted inside of it. So there were just a lot of things that basically went into play just to know what I wanted to do with my brand. So I had to just factor in all those different pieces. I mean, it's a lot. So, I mean, you really want to think through everything. And I mean, not to say you couldn't still change it along the way if you wanted to, but just the fact of just starting out and really just making sure you get something that's right at the beginning and really make sure that's something that you could probably definitely put out there to the world and make sure you get that customer base who are interested in basically getting your product, like getting the product from you versus going to somebody else. And I know there are still instances where people might get one product from you, but then like, okay, I think I'd rather still get something over here from this person too. But at the same time, you know, you still have something that you can offer to that person.
I like that.
So yeah, so that's what went into it. But it took a while just to really know what I wanted.
Yeah. I like how you said, make sure you get it right from the beginning. Do you got a personal story that you could tell about that? Like, when you didn't get it right from the beginning and how it cost you?
Well, I wouldn't say it cost me. But yeah, I was playing around more with my logo and stuff. But I could never get that right the way I wanted it to.
Like, how many times you changed your logo?
I probably did. From what you see out there now until today, it's probably the first time I actually changed it. But before I put any logo on my product, I probably did about 4 or 5 times. Like, all right, no, I don't want that logo. Let's go back. Yeah, so I did multiple times, but yeah.
Oh, you was confusing your customers. They were like, wait, is this a new product? Or is this a new line? Like, what is this?
But I would probably say that the logo that I have now, that's what I basically am running with. That's currently in my website, and that's on my packaging now. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we finally helped you. You finally was able to decide on the logo.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, once you have one, you know, you want to make sure it's there, you know, forever. So you want to make sure that's right. That's key as well, because that's your brand. That's who you are.
And that's how people know your brand too, through your logo. Like we know McDonald's for the golden arches, right?
Yeah. You will never forget it.
Anytime you see those golden arches, you know what's going down. The kids know, everybody know. You know, another thing I just want to go back into real quick, because I'm still fascinated that you went to school for accounting and then now you're in the beauty industry. I feel like there's more story there. Like, how does one go from accounting to the beauty industry? Like, were you just always into beauty and just not telling people, or like?
Yeah, because I say, I've been thinking about it for years, and I should have just started it. Regardless, but it's more of me holding myself back. How many
people knew that you were into this whole beauty thing before you started it?
Not too many. I wasn't voicing it like that. I'll be honest, I wasn't voicing it like that. So not too many.
Not too many.
Yeah.
So what was the reaction like when you first started to come out to the family? Say, hey, I'm gonna do this beauty line thing. What was the reaction?
Oh, to be honest, I got their support. So they was basically like, just go for it. Let's try it.
Was they like, wait, what do you beauty? Like, I know they gave you support, but was they like beauty?
No, because when it comes down to it, they know I like beauty products. So I do.
Oh, okay. So
I've always been into beauty, so I do love them. So I basically grew up around that. It was more. I know my mom wore some. She wore minimal makeup, but I do have an aunt who loves wearing it a lot. So really being around her and just really learning more about it and see I like those. I used to always play in the makeup, the lipsticks, and everything else. So growing up, so I've always loved it. Gotcha. And I just thought it was kind of interesting just to really get into it. I mean, hey, when you got passion for something, you should basically go for it. That's how I look at it.
Absolutely. I always tell people that if you got a passion for something, go for it. Wait, who is this auntie that used to inspire you into beauty? Who is this auntie?
Who is this auntie?
Yeah.
So basically, this is on my mom's side. So just basically being around her, she used to love wearing all the types of different cosmetics, like the blushes, the eyeshadow, everything. You can name it.
I was like, I got to give a shout out to that auntie. Nicole not trying to give you a government name.
My Aunt Minda.
Aunt Minda, we appreciate you. Thank you for exposing this young lady to start a brand. I can't wait for it to to become what I know it's gonna be, she gonna take over the world. She gonna give Rihanna a run for her money.
Hey,
Riri gonna have to sign you up as a co-partner. So tell me what projects are you currently working on, and where can people find you? All the social medias, website, all that stuff. What are you currently working on, and where can people find you?
So right now, I mean, definitely I'm still looking to like add some more shades to my current line that I have with the lip glosses and nail polishes. But definitely I am looking ahead and really try to see what the next product will be added to my line. So it might be some lipsticks I might add to the line. And definitely in the future down the road, I'm definitely going to get into the skincare side.
Okay.
To really get that too.
I feel like black skincare is there's not enough for black skincare. At least I don't see enough stuff for black skincare.
Yeah, but it's still very small.
Yeah.
Really.
So I think you'll do well going into that space.
Yeah, but that's what I'm looking forward to. Just really, because every day my mind is going, trying to figure out what do I need to do next. So, but people can find me at www.satrell.com.
Spell it out.
SATRELL.com.
Gotcha.
And then you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. My handle is at my Satrell brand.
Okay.
So you can follow me over there.
Awesome. And then I'm gonna get all of these links from her in the email, so I can put it in the show notes, so you can follow, support, love on my sis Nichole Wright from North Carolina. Throw it around your head like a helicopter. So all my family out there, North and South Carolina, make sure y'all go out there, support Miss Wright. Any last words of wisdom, words of inspiration for all the young girls out there who want to get into the beauty space, all the mompreneurs out there who trying to make a way for themselves? Give you words of wisdom and some last words of advice, Miss Wright.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Just please always follow your passion. Don't ever get deterred by anything. Even if you have children and have a lot going on in your life, don't make any excuses. Just move forward. And everything will work itself out. Awesome.
Move forward. Everything work itself out. Sometimes you gotta operate on faith and not fear. So, Miss Wright, I definitely appreciate this interview. Thank you so much for the time you have given me today. That's been another episode of Risepreneurs, and we are out.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Risepreneurs podcast.
Thank you for taking the journey.
Be sure to like, comment, and smash that subscribe button. And stay connected with Terrell on and off the show. Follow at Risepreneurs on all platforms.
Do what you love what you do. Don't chase the money. Let the money chase you.